Hey everybody, it's Friday, somewhere, someplace. I'm Kevin Murcko, CEO here at CoinMetro. And since it's Friday, somewhere, this is our AMA. I'd like to do this every week. I think I'm still a bit yellow this week, but sorry. Still trying to work out some kinks in the new studio. But hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. And hopefully I'll have some questions to answer. Usually have a lot, actually, so we'll see how that rolls. Let's pop this up so everybody knows who I am without me saying it again. Philippe coming through. Hey, Kevin, great job on the new listings. Also love your 60-second videos. Yeah, I'm starting to like to do them as well. They were a bit difficult to do as well. You know, sometimes I answer a question, especially about finance, and I can go for a while. But yeah, the 60-second videos are cool. I'm glad you like them, Philippe. And I'm going to try and keep them coming, at least a few a day. Only been doing one a day for the past few days, looking for different news topics. Haven't really found ones that trigger me all that much. That Binance one did a bit. Kind of hard to fit that into 60 seconds, but we did it. We'll see what more comes in the next few days. Is there any news about the new mobile app? When is it scheduled for? Right now, mobile app for August. Early August is the schedule of V1. The idea is to come out with the fastest, most quality V1 we can, minimal features, and then knock out a new version every 2 weeks until we get the entire platform inside the app. So, but August is the planned first release. I think I'm going to do a quick, let's do this 60 seconds CoinMetro update. Maybe even take less than 60 seconds this week. I'm going to try to knock it out as fast as I can. So this week in 60 seconds here at CoinMetro, and here we go. So we had 9 assets listed this past week. 9. Wow. I believe we only had 9 assets listed in entirety for quite some time, and it took us 2 years to get there, almost 3 years to get there. Now we got 9 listed just last week. More to come. Hopefully all those people who have asked for listings are happy. Cadena staking is on the way. Cadena went live yesterday. We were waiting on a few things from them, which we got, but now we need to figure out a few things on our side. Scheduled for release on Tuesday the 13th. Tuesday the 13th, KDA bonding will go live at CoinMetro. PRQ staking is being designed currently. More to come next week. And we have more on our plate than ever, to be honest. More product, more surprising things, maybe more listings, who knows, all coming very, very, very soon. We're going to try to have a crazy pipeline of things coming out every week, every other week, to keep you guys on your toes. So that's the last week in CoinMetro in 60 seconds. Let's move on. Oh, missed one. Sorry. Hold on. Let's see here. Any news on Flux Parallel assets? So we have the assets. We just need to collect and distribute. So I do expect that probably right after Cadena bonding, KDA bonding, or potentially right before, we're going to sort that out. But we have the assets. As long as you continue to stake your Flux with us, you're going to get those assets sometime in July. I would suspect right before or after KDA bonding, which is scheduled Tuesday the 13th. Okay, let's see here. Boom. Hey, Kevin, do I lose my snapshot Flux if I cancel my staking plan now? I would like to set up my own Flux node, but still have my Flux. Keep your Flux locked, friends, until you get those assets. Then go ahead, if you want to set up your own node, have at it. No reason to cancel prematurely. And there is a potential, there is a potential you could lose them. Why? That's not the plan. We don't want to keep your assets. But we're going to use a snapshot of our own when we go ahead and push those assets out. So to be on the safe side, I would keep staked here until you get those assets on your account. BizDev, actually, a good amount of BizDev going on in several different areas right now. Lots of that BizDev is around yield. So what the cool cats call staking, bonding, baking, etc., us old bald guys call yield. Lots of biz dev right now around yield, looking at ways in order to bring more yield, more passive income products to CoinMetro, integrate them with our Earn platform, and give you guys more of a chance to earn money on your money. At least 3 or 4 conversations going on there, some liquidity conversations going on as well, which I would throw in the biz dev category. And what else we got going on in biz dev? We got a few, well, we got some listings going on in biz dev as well. There's definitely some more listings on the Invest platform also happening. Yeah. Actually, you know, yeah, the color's a bit off, but I've had a hard time adjusting on this, adjusting this camera. But I don't know if Mr. Jaundice doesn't look too bad on me, I think. I don't know. Anyway, we'll try to get it adjusted for next week. Can you share a bit more of not boring Treasury news that you were talking about a couple of weeks ago? Hey, Moni, I just touched on it a bit. So the whole idea behind, let's say, proper Treasury management is that we obviously hold lots of assets on our books. Some of those assets could potentially earn yield, some can't. The end goal for us is to provide a income product, a passive income product for all assets, and that includes fiat. That involves a lot of Treasury management. It involves third-party connections. It involves us being able to create income on our own platform through margin and through collateralized lending and borrowing. And it also involves managing Treasury between all those pieces, making sure that net in and outflows are managed, so we understand how much of these assets we can put up for yield, how much of these assets we need to have on hand at any one time to process withdrawals, what the lead time is to get assets out of those yield-making contracts. There's lots of Treasury management going on there. We've hired someone new in Treasury management. They start in August. I've been looking after Treasury till now, along with our COO, Edward. Big shout out to Edward. He needs a big shout out because he is a giant. So anyway, I've been working on that. We've been talking with external providers about yield, about different ways to create yield. Now, for us, obviously, as a company, we want to make money. That's what companies do. But what we want to do is give most of that yield back to you. But we want to figure out ways where we can even provide yield on euros, on dollars, on pounds. And we have a way. I don't want to give away the secret sauce, even though I guess if you've been around traditional finance a while, it's not that secret. But the idea would be is to take those funds, put them into some type of yield-bearing asset, get the yield, and hedge the risk, the FX risk, against the fee from the fiat to that yield-bearing asset. We have a plan. We have a way to do it. Now we just need to do it, and we need to find the right partners to do it with. We have two partners now. That we can do it with. It's all about right now about seeing how we can integrate. The more automation, the better. The less we leave in the hands of potential human error, the better. So that's where we stand. And obviously right now on that kind of yield side, we're looking at things like Flux, like Cadena, like PRQ with IQ. PRQ with IQ, that's a tongue twister. To be able to provide protocol-based yield, which means that there's no real Treasury management involved for us. The next step after that is, for me, a bit more exciting because I'm just a numbers guy and I like to deal with that type of stuff. Even though, it's funny, I'm a numbers guy, but I'm not a spreadsheet guy. I like numbers in my head. And I gotta say though, my 25-year-old brain was really accurate compared to my almost 5-year-old brain. But I'm still pretty good. I can still, count for the most part. So you talked previously about making XCM like some kind of ownership token, i.e. you buy XCM, you own a part of CoinMetro. Is that still going to happen? Hey, Jeff Yule. So the idea is that we will have an equity-based token as soon as we get our newest investors onboarded through Ignium. Should happen over the next couple of weeks into the middle of July. When that happens, we will have a equity. I'm a CoinMetro equity holder, guy, dude, woman, person over here. And I'm an XCM holder, person, dude, guy, woman, lady, I don't know, over here. I don't know what pronouns to use anymore, to be honest. I'm just confused. So if somebody can help me out on that. There should be just one pronoun now, because I used to say, you know, dudes, guys. Guys used to mean like everybody, you know. Now it's like gender specific or something. I just don't know, man. And now it's just so difficult to just say everyone without upsetting anyone. Whew, okay, I'm a little scared. So XCM, and we have this equity token over here somewhere. Or was it over here? I don't know. One was here, one was there. Anyway, so one was here, one was there. The idea is that you have XCM and you say, look, instead of earning XCM for rebates, instead of earning XCM when I trade on CoinMetro, I want to earn the equity tokens. And this way you would be able to become an owner of CoinMetro just by using the platform. That was the idea. That idea is still there. We don't have the equity token yet. Once we have it, we will start to see how we can get to the point where that becomes a reality, and it will be a reality one day. That's for sure. The idea is, look, if just like you do options programs at companies, which by the way, CoinMetro is about to launch for our employees, yay! Just like you do options for companies, the reason you do that obviously is because when people own something, they treat it nicer. If you're renting a house, maybe you don't treat it that nice. Once it's yours, or at least the bank's and almost yours 30 years from now, you tend to treat it nicer because it's yours. You tend to put a little more effort in. You tend to, paint and put new flooring in, add a new kitchen. Well, you give options to employees, one, because obviously they're your employees and you want great employees to be compensated. And what better way to make them really intertwine with the company, to make them really look at the goals of the company and intertwine them with their own goals than by making them owners? Well, the same thing now is with customers. I mean, you want investors. You want clients, customers that are your investors, that are your shareholders. Why? Because they're going to treat that relationship with the company differently. And that's the end goal. The end goal is to get as many investors, as many as you guys owning a piece. I said guys again, Jesus. Sorry, so scared right now. To get as many of you people owners of CoinMetro. That's the goal. That's always going to be the goal, and it's still the goal now. Lending, borrowing, staking, trading via Aave, Terra, Syntex. I forget the full name, NSNX. Anyway, yeah, look, there's a reason why we've listed some of the assets we've listed since I've been talking about, the Earn platform or the idea of passive income. So obviously, there's some passive income opportunities there, and we're headed down that road. So I can't give you any specifics right now on date, time, on where it fits in the roadmap, but it's absolutely one of the reasons why those things were listed. Now that's a couple weeks after XCM staking is 71.5 million XCM, in line with what you thought would be staked by this time. Hey, Violet, I actually had no expectations going into XCM staking. If you ask me now what my expectation is, I would expect the vast majority of XCM to be staked of the circulating supply. Right now, that 71 million actually represents a pretty good portion of what I would consider circulating supply. So while we have shareholders and then we have Treasury, which currently hold roughly, I would say, near 100 million. And it's a little less than that, but it's somewhere around there. Then we have large XCM holders who are also shareholders. So when I say shareholders, I mean our original shareholders. Then we have large XCM holders, which are new shareholders who hold another 40 million or so XCM. That's 140 right there. Plus the 70, that's 210. I would say that's seven. If you take the 140 out of the 303,000, I believe, which are the what we consider actual circulating supply, which is basically Treasury. So take Treasury there. So that's 110 million less. So that means 190 million are actually circulating, more or less, or potentially circulating. Now this is approximate, so don't write this down somewhere and put it on a website. 71 million of that is already, 37, 36% or something like that. I would expect we get to around 60%. 60 to 70% of that circulating supply gets staked over the medium term. And in the long term, I expect it to be even higher. Could be 90%. Why? It doesn't make any sense not to, especially when there's monthly plans. We're going to be updating those tiers. Those tiers aren't going to stay the same forever. And at some point, I do expect the vast majority to be staked. If you ask me what I think right now about the 70, so I didn't have any expectations going in, but I think that percentage is pretty good. I mean, just a couple weeks in, obviously we haven't made that much fanfare yet about staking. No fireworks displays outside the talent office yet that say XCM staking. I mean, it's coming, bro. It's coming. But I think for what we have done, I'm happy. I could be happier, but I also could be less happy. So I'm pretty neutral, and I think that's a great number. Actually, 71 million is a good amount of XCM to be staked, especially since about 30 or 40 million of that was staked within the first 2 days. Because you talk about how KDA staking bonding works. Who me banana? Who me banana? That name just completely destroyed my line of thought, and now I need to take a sip of water to answer this question. Okay, so KDA bonding. So do you want to know how KDA bonding works, as in how actual KDA bonding works through their chain, which is quite complex and maybe boring to some people, maybe really insightful to others? Or do you want to know how it works at CoinMetro? See, CoinMetro's goal here is to take something complex, like KDA bonding, and reduce it to press 2 buttons. And that's pretty much the experience. If you've had experience with XCM staking or Flux staking on CoinMetro, it'll be the same experience. Create a plan, how much, how long, create, confirm. That's it. That's essentially how it works with CoinMetro. When you're talking about how bonding works at Cadena with KDA, like I said, it's a more complex process. They use a lot of words that no one else uses. They kind of created their own vocabulary to describe how their passive income opportunity, their protocol-based staking works. Basically, you are connecting, you are creating something similar to a smart contract. You are locking in your funds to that contract. That contract, however, through the bonding process, can potentially send information, header information, or let's say the bulk information of that contract can be sent incorrectly. And if it gets sent incorrectly, you actually lose half of what you're bonding. What we've done to mitigate that risk is that Flux is actually, Flux network is actually, or Zell network, I should say, with Flux, is actually, are actually putting together that contract and putting together that header information. And that's going to reduce, hopefully to zero, the amount of issues that occur when it comes to pushing forward that information to Cadena. How is marketing going? Still getting user numbers increases. We are getting new users every day, Jet Fuel, so absolutely, definitely are increasing. They're not decreasing. April was our first positive month ever. May was also a positive month, bigger than April. June, because the entire market fell in terms of volume, we didn't see a profitable month, but our burn rate would have been 0 had we had the same burn rate we did at the beginning of the year. So we would have been basically flat in June. But we ended up with a slight burn. However, again, that's because of increase in resources, more human resources, larger burn rate. But I'm still pretty happy. We're moving around at a good clip. The beginning of July here is looking like we may actually see a record-breaking July. So we'll see how that pans out. But user numbers are definitely still increasing. Marketing is, it's starting to find its feet. You see those 60-second videos. That's one piece of what marketing is doing. There are many other things that are happening behind the scenes. We are tackling Facebook again. We have a new strategy on how to get by Facebook's nonsense, automatic basically denials. So we're working on that. Also working on some other things. And yeah, marketing's still pounding away. And you'll start to see some new strategies along with those short videos coming in the next few weeks, I should say. What are your personal thoughts on XCM price for this year? Do you see us hitting all-time high again, or may it take longer? Hey, Jet Fuel, again. Nice questions today, Jet Fuel. Look, the part of that is, do we see all-time highs again on Ethereum and Bitcoin? That's one question. Why? Now, they shouldn't be correlated, but we all know they are. And the majority of the crypto market is correlated. While on a daily basis, you might not see that pure correlation. When there's a big spike in Ethereum or Bitcoin, it's generally either in conjunction with or followed by spikes in altcoins. And that's either because of money flow off of all-time high profit taking back into altcoins, or it's simply because people perceive that connection and assume that the assets will move in value, thus buy other assets, and self-fulfilling prophecy, they go up in value. So for this year, I do expect some push to the upside. I think there is potential we could touch that all-time high again. Will we? Really depends on lots of factors that I can't guess. I can't even educated guess them because they're outside factors that I don't control. Looking at the market, however, I see a lot. Look, one thing that I've come to realize in my adulthood is that when most people say something, they're usually wrong. When everyone starts saying something, they're usually wrong. And I'm starting to see a lot of communication on social media about being in a bear market now. And you see a few people that come out and say we're still going to see. I think CEO of Celsius came out recently and said we're going to see Bitcoin at 160 by the end of the year. I've seen predictions of Bitcoin going back under 10. I've seen but the majority of predictions I'm seeing are all bearish for no real good reason other than the fact that everybody thinks history is going to repeat itself. But what they don't understand is that history is mainly based on fundamentals, not technicals, and that's even, actual history, not trading history. It's all based on actually what happened. What was the catalyst for what happened, not some lines on a chart. And if you think about fundamentals, the market is substantially different from where it was. We have more institutional money. It's still majority retail, but it's much more institution than it was back in 2017, 2018. That's going to mean that the market's going to operate in a different manner. We're not going to see the 83% capitulation on average like we saw with Bitcoin, I think now 9 times or 8 times, something like that, over the last 12 years. Why? Because that was all retail money. And that's why that happened, because when retails capitulate, they capitulate hard. They get really scared. Everybody gets scared. Nobody wants to hold, especially as low as it goes lower. Now you have institutional money. Now institutions, knowing it's a volatile market, have withstanding right now, 40, 45% loss, maybe even 50. We were at 50% at some point, maybe even lower than that, from all-time highs. But they've maintained here. Now, I kind of expect a lower push on lots of assets, just that last little kind of fake breakout. Why do I expect that? Well, that's how institutions generally function, right? They want to clean up all those weak hands before they finish accumulating and allow price to move higher. So long answer to this one, but at the end of the day, I think we have the potential to get there. It depends, 1, on market. It depends, 2, on our ability to continue to smash it when it comes to our roadmap, get out more listings, get more partnerships, get out more yield products, push out revamps onto our Tram platform. Tram's a big one, guys. Tram can push a lot of volume, and the revamp on Tram for me personally is a big one in order to push more volume. But I do think that yield, all in all, will be the biggest revenue driver for CoinMetro by the end of the year and into 2022. Why? Because there's massive potential with yield. And I'm not talking because of things like protocols offering 20%, 10%, 18%, and all this nonsense. That's not going to last forever. But if you think of how banks make most of their money, they make most of their money loaning your money. They make most of their money on fractional reserve. Now, while we're not going to do fractional reserve, even if we had a banking license, that's something that I just simply don't want to do because I think it's evil in many ways. And it's how the rich stay richer and the poor get poorer. It's one of the many ways, actually. An inflationary currency is another. My goal here is to be able to act as much like a bank as we can without becoming evil. Remember, Google used to say, we're not going to be evil. Well, they're kind of evil now. So CoinMetro doesn't want to be evil, but we're really not going to get evil ever. Our goals always need to be aligned with our clients, because if we have the same goals over the long term, we will be the best company out there in crypto and fintech I think we're already the best. People just don't know it yet. But by a lot, if we get to the point where we start, our goals are aligned, then all of a sudden CoinMetro's goals start to go like this, and we leave the clients behind. I don't know if that made any sense. Then we're going to lose, and we're all going to lose. And if we keep those aligned, I think we're headed to the moon many times over. Can you tell us more about the Pensionable Partnership with MD? Sure. So in the beginning, these guys, they're going to come on and raise capital, right? That's going to be one of the things coming to the Invest platform. Their company, what they're trying to build is an ad network that will help companies like us be able to get ads on networks that currently don't allow them, and get exposure and help increase conversion rates and all that great stuff. Not only do we need that, but other people obviously in the industry need that. So at first, we're going to help them raise some money, and hopefully they get to build that awesome network and that product, and they expand it, they expand their company, and everything goes awesome. And then at that point, well, we're going to be a client of theirs. Absolutely. If they can do what they say they can do, then we are 100% going to be a client of theirs, and potentially more. I would say the partnership initially is helping them raise the funds that they need to push that product and their company forward. And once they do, we're going to be one of their happiest clients. And then we'll see how it blossoms from there. THT team chat, when it is planned, it would be nice to have it in the next 30 days. Hey, Perica 92. Yeah, I think we can do it in the next 30 days. I'll try to get that somewhere in my calendar. If someone's listening on our side, Maris, Oliver, Edward, let's try to get that done. Let's shoot out an email to the guys at THT. Let's get that bad boy scheduled and get her done. Get her done. You guys remember that? It wasn't really that funny, but I don't know. I remembered. Any news on the 10x leverage for margin? Good question. I think potentially now we could offer 10x. In fact, it probably would help. Right now, we have a bit of an imbalance on margin. Imbalance where a lot of margin exposure comes from TRAM, and obviously it's one-sided. And the margin exposure that comes from everyone else is actually quite neutral, meaning 50-50, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, 51, 49, 52, 40, etc., but relatively neutral. So increasing leverage may actually help us increase it faster, if that makes sense. So I'm going to have a discussion about this internally, and we'll see. I think we can get it I think we're going to be able to get an increase in leverage on the calendar within this quarter. So we'll see how we go there. Any luck on organizing AMA with Thought AI, guys? Just talked about that, working on it. We'll see what we can get done this month. So I guess yield partners are Ava and Luna. Not necessarily, at least not yet. But definitely looking to work with those guys in the future, as I said. Any updates on Dubai and listing AED? That fiat on an off-ramp has not gotten back to my last query, so I'm waiting. I'm going to reach out to them again probably today to see what's going on, but they haven't reached back out to me. News on Dubai in general, been in touch with the same investors. I'm going to try and book a call with them probably mid this month. And this way we can go over some of their questions, and I can go over some of their questions in detail, explain to them some things that are upcoming in CoinMetro, and see where we go from there. And for AED, yep, those guys need to get back in touch with me, so I'm going to reach out and ping them again and be a bit annoying, which I can be good at. Will the equity token not compete with XCM then? We'll just not. Why not just make it XCM? Well, if we add in those equity rights into XCM, it becomes a security, and thus inhibits its ability to trade on our spot market until we have an MTF license. I don't think the two are the same anyway. XCM is a token built to incentivize the use of the platform, and essentially is kind of the key to be able to access the platform, even though the exchange of keys, meaning the payment and everything happens behind the scenes. It is the way in, and it's the way to get reimbursed for different actions that you make within the platform. Equity is equity. Equity doesn't give those perks. Equity gives you potential dividends when the company's profitable. Equity gives you potential payout if the company's ever sold. I think those two things should be separate, but depending on how you look or what the value proposition is for you, you may choose one of those over another. And I think having the choice is better, especially considering that I do think in terms of trading volume, XCM will probably always have more trading volume and essentially be more liquid as we grow. And the equity will become liquid, but not as liquid as XCM because there will be less of it than there are XCM tokens. Is there a max XCM staking cap? Yeah, right now, actually, entirely. So it's 500,000 per person, which eventually we hope to get rid of entirely. Right now, there isn't a max overall. We've been able to limit the max overall by limiting to 500K because obviously larger holders can only put up 500K, which automatically puts in an artificial cap anyway. In terms of that cap, like I said, the goal is to remove it entirely. Timeline on that is a bit fuzzy right now, but that is the goal over the medium to long term. Keep doing the 60-second videos. Only takes 1 or 2 to go viral. Yep, will do. Going to make a few more today, which will come out probably over the weekend. What is your opinion on CADX? Can you tell something about how this will potentially be integrated with CoinMetro? Well, to be honest, I can't say I've looked so much at CADX. I think, look, I've said this before in general, and in general, water break. In general, I believe that the future of finance is a hybrid of decentralized services and centralized services. I think when it comes to trading, a centralized order book is always going to be much better to trade through than a decentralized one. So centralized order book, centralized order matching with decentralized settlement. And therein lies the DEX. For me, having a DEX, meaning that someone can come with their MetaMask wallet, connect or whatever wallet, connect to a decentralized exchange, but trade through a centralized order book with that non-custodial, without having to put their funds there. I think is something that will start to happen between DEXs and centralized exchanges. And I would hope that we'd be one of the first and be able to do that with CADX. We've kind of discussed this. Well, can't say kind of. We've discussed this. This is before CADX even existed. This is before CADX was a term with Cadena. And I do think that's the future overall. So it's something that I would like to see happen, and I think it will happen. And I think that's kind of the future of the overall market between centralized and decentralized services. This is when it comes to trading. Will KDA bonding be limited? KDA team said it would be up to 13 million or something. Initially, there's going to be a certain amount of KDA in the pool, in the actual bonding pool. And that's going to limit the amount that will be able to be staked. They've said they may raise it depending on how quickly we get there. I think initially it's something like 3 million KDA, and then they will potentially raise it up to a maximum maybe of 8 million or something like that. I think I don't remember the number 13, but there definitely will be a limitation. But the initial limitation, as long as we get to that limitation quickly, Cadena is ready to throw some more money in the pool. How's Encase and IQ Protocol coming along? IQ Protocol currently in design phase. Well, the initial integration for us is going to be to make sure you guys can get your IQ rewards just by having your funds in our cold or hot wallet, meaning we have them on the platform. After that, the goal will be to fully integrate IQ Protocol and then see how, at the same time, to see how CoinMetro can benefit from IQ Protocol, but more importantly, how potential new listings at CoinMetro could benefit. Imagine you're a SaaS company, you list at CoinMetro, and now we can provide you immediately with a staking program for your asset by way of IQ Protocol. Yes, Tram is a big one, but when Tram? Coming. I think it's on our roadmap for August. Can we expect to be able to transfer assets from one CoinMetro account? When? That should happen this month, guys, in July. Why also zero publicity regarding the new listings? We just look, we know you guys have been begging and begging for new listings, and I'm talking about our community at large. We just went ahead and did it, man. It becomes public because it's on CoinGecko, it's on CoinMarketCap. We will make some noise about it at some point, but we just simply wanted to get it out. We wanted to get it out for you, not for everybody else. But everybody else is going to find out when they start searching for places they can trade those assets. And as we start to roll out new marketing efforts like asset pages, for example. Why does 99% of crypto correlate with BTC and ETH? How long do you think it will last until massive utility token volume kicks in? Why? Because uninformed investors, that's why. So retail investors or investors that aren't, institutional, they're not professionals. They see Ether and Bitcoin start to move, or Bitcoin, Ether moves, whatever. Ether starts moving to the upside and they say, oh, the market is bullish. And so they buy, not just Ether, but they buy other coins as well, other tokens, even ones that have nothing to do with Ether. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up and those non-informed investors go, well, the market is super bullish. Bitcoin's up 10%, and they're buying other assets. Other investors, when they put their money, they leave their money in these larger assets usually as kind of a safety haven, right? So even though they're volatile, less volatile than some altcoins. So they will take their money and put it into ETH, put it into Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin ETH does a 200% move or a 50% move or a 30% move. They take profits, and that profit goes right back into altcoins. Now, that leads to a delayed correlation, but still leads to a correlation. The thing is that to move Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they have such large market caps, it takes a good amount and a massive amount of synthetic liquidity as well. It takes a good amount of volume, a good amount of money, a good amount of volume, good amount of money to move those assets higher. But just the profit that's taken is a much smaller amount of money, obviously, but it can move a small cap, a micro cap, or a token that has a very small market cap. It can move that token by 100%, by 30%, by 15% with a much smaller amount of money. So there's two ways that things correlate. They correlate, one, because people just don't understand how markets work and assume that if one is moving, they're all going to move. And so they spread their money around, self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's a almost instant correlation. And then you have a delayed correlation where Bitcoin and Ether or other large caps go higher over a certain amount of time, a few days, a week, a month. And then the profits flow back into those smaller tokens. And thus you have a delayed correlation. How long do you think will last? It's going to last until, retail money is only 20% or less of the market. And that's going to take a long time. So what also happens is that retail gets smarter. Retail get more intuitive. Retail start to learn and read. And they understand that correlation isn't necessarily a good thing, or that correlation doesn't necessarily have to happen, and why correlation happens. And then they catch themselves actually doing, but the thing is that, when you look at markets, they all tend to act the same way. Okay. So you have this, I'm going to remove this for a while. You have this, we have this idea collectively that crypto is different. It's not. So stock markets and crypto move even though crypto is traded like FX, it's traded like currencies. We have pairs, Bitcoin USD, Bitcoin Euro. No one trades just Bitcoin. Even though it's traded like FX, it acts like stocks. Why? People buy and hold. Most people buy and hold. That's what happens in stocks. And you could say that, why do people do that? Why don't they trade? They can make more money. If most people traded, then you wouldn't see the increase in value in stocks over time. Why? Because most people would lose their money. That's what happens when most people trade. They get wrecked. And if everybody got wrecked in stocks, then people wouldn't put money in stocks anymore, and people wouldn't be holding. And so stocks would tank. The whole idea is to incentivize people to hold. And that's why to hodl. That's why we have 401ks. That's why you have super funds. That's why you have retirement plans. All those things force people, without them even knowing it, to be a hodler. And that's why the stock market continues to grow year on year, because year on year, there's new workers. There's new people putting money into pension funds, even though they don't know it. And there's new people buying stocks and holding them. Those that try to trade get wrecked and, whatever, but that's a very small percentage of the people actually putting money in the market. Same thing happens in crypto. We just don't yet have pension funds in the market. That's real institutional money. Elon Musk, MicroStrategy, these guys are peons compared to what is real institutional money. And that's pension funds, that's endowments. That's when Harvard or Yale come with their $1 endowment. And some of them already have actually to a certain percentage, but a very small one. Pension funds roll in, the city of whatever's pension fund will just throw 20 billion in real quick. That's real institutional money. We don't really have that yet. We will get there at some point. We're not there yet. When that happens and the retail percentage dwindles, we're going to start to see less correlation across majors and minors in the market. Now that I erase this, I have no idea where I was. Give me a second. Here we go. When Q3 roadmap. Woo! Oliver! Q3 roadmap. That's an Oliver question. You got to tag Oliver _ CoinMetro, I think, on Telegram for that one. Hopefully in Q3. It would be nice. Oliver's been busy though. Bless his heart. He's been doing so much for the company. That was a really shitty UK voice, if anybody was wondering. It's like Oliver Twist or something. That's how I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so ask Oliver about that. I expect to have it out in Q3, hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so we can get that bad boy rolling. Any news on Ignium? Sure, lots of news on Ignium. Ignium completed its funding round, raised just under that $1 million. Already have commitments for the next funding round from individuals that were waiting to see how this funding round rolled out. Expect to see a much bigger raise for Ignium in the next 8 months or so. Things are going well. That new e-commerce style system is currently rolling out piece by piece. New clients coming on board, not just fundraising, but also clients utilizing other services, especially the secondary market. That's something that a lot of companies are really having a lot of interest in. So yeah, Ignium rolling around well. Recruiting is happening at Ignium as well. There's now, I think, 9 people on the team, which is amazing. Lots of devs, even in the Talon office. So they have half the 5th floor of the CoinMetro offices in Talon. Ramo's working his butt off as CEO. And yeah, I think Ignium's moving along like it should. I expect really good things. Hi, Bjorn. So that's not even a question for me. When are you guys launching IQ? Already answered that one. The beard is becoming pretty epic. Yeah, it is. And I kind of don't really feel it's there anymore. But at the same time, when I see myself, I can't help but touch it and do this. I feel like Dr. Evil stroking his cat. It's just not a cat. Then I got all this gray here. I feel like 10 years older. I guess now I look my age. Anybody catch that one? But yeah, it's becoming quite epic. I hope I don't turn into Gandalf the Grey before we hit €1. I'm looking at you, everybody. I'm looking at you. You specifically. XCM, man, come on. It's at a good price. Everybody wanted to buy XCM at 50 cents. Now at 25. Oh, there's a problem. You ever notice that about markets? You ever notice that? It's an interesting thing. Imagine you walked into a car dealership today. I just strolled in. You were getting paid. You were going to have the money to buy your dream car the next day. Yeah. You roll in and looking around the dealership and you see it. Whatever your dream car is. Let's say it's a Corvette. All right. I don't know. Let's say it's a Bentley. Let's say it's a Maserati. It's a Maybach. It's a Jeep Wrangler. I don't know. Whatever your dream car is. You see it. You go over there. The dealer comes over and he's like, "You again? Come look at the car, huh? Look how nice it is." He starts rubbing his hand against the shiny paint job. Opens it up so you can smell the Corinthian leather. And you're like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm coming back tomorrow. Sticker price, $65K, right?" So you're like, "Yeah, I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm buying that car. I'm buying it." And then you come back the next day and it's $32,500. Would you go, "Oh my God, I'm not buying this anymore. It fell. What if it goes even lower?" Oh, you wouldn't do that. You'd buy the car. You might even buy 2 of them. You might buy the car and throw in a bunch of extras because it's half off. For some reason, though, when you're talking about your financial future and buying into an investment, when price goes in half, you like it less. That's something you need to learn, everybody, from institutional investors. If they liked it at 50, they love it at 25. They adore it at 20. And at 15, they would literally mortgage their second, third, fourth, and fifth homes to jump in. Chill Will Cat, Godspeed. Okay, might be too old to understand what that means, but yep, Joran got muted by Oliver. He's being a naughty boy in the chat. When can we buy using crypto debit cards? When can we buy using crypto debit cards? You mean when can you use a crypto debit card on CoinMetro? It's probably there. Some of those are probably classified as prepaid, and that's why they don't go through. Prepaid is very high risk for us. Lots of fraud around prepaid cards. If you're talking about when will we have cards, in process, actually filed the first application to the bank 2 days ago. So the process has begun. Great news regarding IQ protocol, especially the early part you mentioned. Please make it opt-in and not give us everyone rewards suddenly overnight. German tax laws. Yeah, German tax laws. Guys, I really want to dig into this one day because I've read the stuff. And I got to tell you, I don't see the same thing everyone else is seeing. And I also can almost guarantee you, with the way that Germany is heading in terms of changing laws, you guys probably saw that, that they're allowing now all those, I'm going to call them community banks, to be able to invest in crypto. And there's many other things happening. Not going to remain that way. Yielding products are yielding products. And if you have a yielding product in fiat, it doesn't change the taxation of the underlying fiat. And there's no reason why a yielding, also, if you make dividends on a stock, it doesn't change the tax properties of the stock either. Anyway, yeah, to answer your question, we will do that. But yeah, I still question the underlying there. Hi, Kevin. Any chance you see a VXV Euro pair? Could we please explain the process to list a new fiat pair for a coin? Well, really, to list another fiat pairing is just really about either cloning the other book, cloning the USD book to underpin liquidity, or creating an entirely new pair with zero liquidity from the start. The first is relatively easy. We just want to see demand. If there's demand to do it, then we do it. What's the next blue ball? What's the next blue ball next to the moon behind you? That's a good question. I don't know. I guess it's the moon's moon. That's really where you want to be. You want to be in the moon's moon, not just the moon. Going to the moon is so 2017. You want to go to the moon's moon. That looks like a dwarf planet, though, to be honest. Maybe it's Pluto crashing into that moon. I mean, we do have Saturn over here, somehow close to the moon, where next to the sun. So maybe that's actually one of Jupiter's 8 moons, and that's a dwarf planet. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't design the set, just sit in front of it. So when we receive KDA bonus for staking Flux? That's a good question. Ask that one in Telegram, because I haven't been in that conversation, so I can't really answer that one for you. Sorry. Hi, Kev, not CM related. I like trading ranges while I'm still not good at holding gains during trending markets. Any thoughts? I like trading ranges, but I'm still not good at holding gains during trending markets. Any thoughts? Well, I think people get comfortable in ranges, right? You draw your lines on the chart, you see that it hits 3 or 4 times, you get confidence, and you start to trade on those ranges. In trending markets, you're constantly looking for the range now. So you break out of the range and you start to get this, and every time the thing goes up, you go, oh, that's going to be the range, and you're taking your profit, and then it still goes up. So you need what you're saying. It's good and bad. So what's good is that it's become very natural for you to chart a range. Great. Many people are terrible at trading ranges. So awesome on you. You figured out how to trade a range. Now, once you realize that there's been a breakout of that range, you either need to hold what you have until you absolutely identify a new range, or get rid of what you have and wait until that range comes. Don't bother trying to be a good range trader, breakout, trend. You're not going to be good at all of them, and you don't need to be. It's kind of like, if you're already the best neurosurgeon in the world, why would you want to be a podiatrist? Why try and branch out? You're really good at something, stick with it. If you know how to spot ranges, you don't need to be in the market all the time. If you're in the market all the time, it's probably going to lead to more losses than it's going to lead to more gains. So if you want to also have a part of your portfolio that you're hodling, when you see a breakout of a range to the upside, even to the downside in crypto, to be honest, the best strategy ever since the beginning of crypto and stocks is to hold, whether it's in going into a downtrend or an uptrend. So I would have a piece of my, and this takes the pressure off as well, have a piece of my portfolio. If I own Ethereum, I own XCM, I own whatever, have a percentage of your portfolio you never sell. You're hodling, right? So this way, when there's a trending market, you're gaining on the trending market without having to trade it. And when you spot a range again, you can start to trade within the range. That would be my advice to you, my friend. Let me know if that helps. 2012, someone told me to buy one Bitcoin for $6. I didn't, and I'm glad. Today, I bought one Bitcoin worth 33. Would I rather own $6 worth of Bitcoin or 33K worth of Bitcoin? Pretty obvious. Patience is key. Yeah. Of course, that 33,000 could have bought you, 5,500 Bitcoin. At 6, which would have been quite the nice number now. Yeah, patience is key, but the patience would have been buying it at 6 and not selling it at 600. That would have been where the patience would have been tested. What happened with listing VXV baskets? It's still something that's kind of on our minds, just that we have so many other things. We need to recruit devs. When we have more devs, there's a lot of things that we're going to jump into. That's definitely one of them. Any chances of a shout out to the Dutch CM Telegram group so we get our fellow Dutchies who are not in yet to join us? Awesome. Absolutely, Deep Philippe. Huge shout out to the Dutch CoinMetro Telegram group. You guys, I don't speak Dutch myself and probably never will, but I like to listen to people speak Dutch. And I do enjoy the Netherlands, and not because I like to go pee on the ground in Amsterdam and stare at breasts. I know you guys don't like that anymore. By the way, Amsterdam, if you don't want people to go and pee on the ground and stare at boobs, get rid of the boobs and get rid of the toilets that are a hole in the ground on the street. Just saying. But yeah, big shout out to the Dutch Telegram group. You guys are awesome because you're with it, CoinMetro, and we're awesome. So collectively, we're just all awesome. And, you got to start communicating a bit more. You can't just... If you speak Dutch, man, that's the place to be. Absolutely. Where else are you going to go on a Saturday evening in the Netherlands or wherever you're living speaking Dutch? Because they do speak Dutch in other countries. I'm sure of it. I don't know if that was a good shout out, but here we go. Let's get to the €1 party this year. I always say party now when I see €1. You see? I'm triggered now. I want a completely decadent and over the top party. All right, we're gonna do everything we can to work towards that. You have my promise on that one. Any hint on parallel mining with Flux? Almost said Flux. I said it now. Flux. Any hint on the parallel mining? I assume you mean parallel rewards. If not, enlighten me. But I already answered that earlier in the show. We have the assets. We just need to collectively distribute them and make a automated solution to do that. I would expect that to happen either right before or right after CADX bonding, which is scheduled for the 13th, by the way. How long until AMA with Martino or Stewart from Cadena? Well, we can try to put that one in line too. Edward, Oliver, Maris, somebody please. Let's try to get Will or Stewart. Do Will. Oh, sorry. Will. We try Stewart or Martino. I think Stewart would probably be the guy that's going to do it. We talked about it, actually. So we'll see if we can set that one up as well. Thanks for the shout out, Kevin. All 64 current members. Appreciate it. Thank you, Deep Philippe, for asking for the shout out and being here for pretty much every AMA, I think, forever. I don't know when you started coming, but it seems like forever. Another question just rolling in. They said mining and nodes will start to reward with parallel assets. Yeah. So parallel assets, you're not mining parallel assets. You're just being rewarded with parallel assets. We have the parallel assets. We've already received them for all the nodes. We just need to create the automation that's going to distribute them on the CoinMetro platform. So you have your rewards. They will be coming. And I expect that to happen right before or right after KDA bonding on the 13th. You're very welcome, Jeff Ewell. No more. I think I got to all the questions. I don't see any more right now. I can wait a minute, see if more come in. As you guys already know, guys, gals, people, persons, places, I need a pronoun, man. Somebody's got to help me with a pronoun. I don't know. There's got to be a universal pronoun. Come on, Jesus. All right. While I wait for a universal pronoun, it's going to be the weekend. Everybody, you know, I'm still in Mexico. I'll be here for a while. I'm going to try and actually make my skin look this color by sitting in the sun for a few minutes. I don't know what you guys are going to do this weekend. Buy high, sell drunk. That's a great weekend plan, MF. Good luck with that. Buy all the XCM you can, and then don't get drunk for a while. Would be my recommendation. So I don't know if we want to look at prices this weekend, but obviously when you're spending time with your friends and family this weekend, virtually or otherwise, you know, when you're into your third or fourth or fifth shot of vodka on the left side of the monitor so mom can't see, make sure as you take that fifth shot, you kind of gargle, and she'll get the hint. Mom will put some more in her portfolio. She'll fill her bags because why wouldn't she? XCM is awesome. And mom knows it. Mom knows everything. Mom knows best. You guys, if you have any more questions, if I didn't get to your question, if I skipped your question because I just don't like you, which I never do, I think, go ahead and tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko, or go ahead and tweet me at Kevin Murcko on Twitter. More 60-second videos to come. If you have something that you want me to talk about on those 60-second videos, tag me in Telegram. I'm going to be looking for options in the next few hours to pump out a few more of those videos for this weekend. So give me some news stories. It could even be outside of crypto. Maybe we'll mix it up a bit. But give me something that I can comment on. If I can say something ironic and funny about it, that's even better. So put me to the test on that one. See you guys here next week. Thank you so much for. I have one. I'll answer this question. How is Mexico for tourists and locals? Any chance of being a collateral victim of Marcos? Not Marcos. Marcos. Those are the Murcko narcos, I guess. The chance is pretty low, to be honest. Shit happens. Shit happens everywhere in the world, unfortunately. I would say you might have a slightly higher chance of getting shot here by a narco than you would in Billings, Montana, but probably not all that much. So if you're a super conservative type fellow, and that slight difference creeps you out, then maybe stay home. But you know, I think to be fair, I think I've only ever heard of one incident where tourists got injured and nobody died as a result of gunfire in Mexico, which is already too much, to be honest. But yeah, I feel safe. I feel safe here, and as long as you're not doing things you shouldn't be, you should feel safe as well. Anyway, so have a great weekend, everybody. See you on Telegram. See you wherever. If you didn't thumbs up this video, why not? See you guys here next week. See you guys in Telegram. Thank you for everything. Thanks for the support. Keep it up. I'll try to keep up my end of the bargain. And cheers.